Today on the program, APC presidential candidates Tinubu present manifesto to Afenifere as Fasonati gives him blessings and predicts he will win the presidency. But Adebanjo insists on Peter Obi of Labour Party. And later on the show, former President Jonathan, Vice President Osinbajo and others make case for specific constitutional rules for deputies as Governor Ganduje launches book, Deputizing and Governance in Nigeria. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Gani Kaide Balogun. If you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with cheering news. 8 terrorists who attempted to attack the Wawa military cantonment in New Busa, Bogu local government area of Niger State had been killed by troops of the Nigerian military. According to reports, troops of the Nigerian Air Force and the Nigerian Army joined forces to stop the terrorists from gaining access to the barracks. The terrorists were said to be planning to set some of their colleagues in the military cantonment free. Jide, gone are those days that you see terrorists overwhelming super
camps.
What do you call it? Super camps. Anyhow. But right now, I think we're on top of our game.
Yes, and I'm particularly happy because in this same Niger State, terrorists had overrun a number of military formations, sometimes even setting the military formations ablaze. In the Shiroro area and some other places where they were quite strong. So that they failed in their task in Bogu is something to be really happy about. And stories of their escapades in Niger State is also reducing. We are not getting the kind of stories that we used to get in those days from that area. It suggests that we are making progress. And what happened in Wawa is also evidence that when the armed forces pull resources together, they always succeed against the enemy. You can see that the Air Force was very much in the thick of the action. We supported the surface troops. And at the end of the day, we killed 8 of these people. So, and they were also able to arrest others. I always remember the bloody ambush in the Shiroro area some months back where we lost many soldiers. You know, they came, kidnapped some expatriates, you know, who are working on the facility in the area. So we just need to step up our game. The enemy is far from defeated, as I always say, but they cannot defeat the Nigerian state. That I'm sure of. But at the same time, we must do our best to stay resolute and ensure that our flanks are not left open.
And with what we've seen so far, I suspect that some of these terrorists might have left their natural enclave to come into town. That's why you have disturbing security reports here and there. So maybe the activity of the Nigerian Navy, I was in the Air Force, the air strikes and everything, they might be intimidated to come into town.
Well, there are phases to every war. I think we are entering the next phase, where they will now be emboldened enough to come into towns and suburbs of big towns to wreak havoc. And I have a feeling they're also moving down south because the areas where they presently operate are no longer as conducive as it were a year ago, 6 months ago. So, like we said on this program many times in the past, because certain areas are being secured, does not mean that the danger is totally off. That means they're opening new theaters of war. What keeps surprising me, as a novice, as a virgin when it comes to security matters, is why Nigeria, as a seafaring nation, with islands inside the what's that, Lake Chad, and islands outside there in the south, and we still keep terrorists on terra firma. That's what I don't get. Because it would have been easier if you are like Niger or Chad, where things are kept at a point. But by now, I thought that there will be islands deep into the Atlantic Ocean, that where we can build serious, high-top prison facilities to hold the terrorists. Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba. For people to move all the way from mainland America to try all this nonsense they are doing here, it will be difficult. I don't know why we put them in prisons that can easily be attacked. Though, like I said, I'm very happy they were repelled. But we should put them in the situation where things like this will happen. I know that, what do you call it now? I know that the environment has dealt with the Lake Chad area and the islands inside it. What stops the Nigerian state from moving them beyond Bonny? There are some islands that are isolated. So who's ever going to attack that? We need to have fantastic attack abilities, including boats and gunships. We keep exposing ourselves. I know Buza very well. I know this cantonment they are talking about. It's on a plane. It's on a plane that you can see from a lot of places. By now, we should not be having this type of terrorists within the mainland Nigerian states. There should be a way to keep them away in such a way that we'll be able to do it. Because while we are winning, they keep getting emboldened by the fact that they can attack isolated targets and wreak havoc.
These days, the synergy between the Air Force and the ground troops seems to be paying off.
Yes, and it starts from the leadership. I've said before that the current set of service chiefs, led by the Chief of Defense Staff, Irabo, are not people who see themselves as rivals. They just see themselves as partners. They are not political. Where you have service chiefs who are political, you know, cohabiting with politicians, with traditional rulers here and there. Your job is to secure Nigeria. What are you doing moving from one traditional ruler to another? That means you are just, you are not focused on your job. You are looking for how to to sustain yourself on the job without thinking of achieving that through the results on the field. You are busy lobbying traditional rulers so that they can talk to the president to keep you. That's why we had the problems that we had at that time. What is your business as a soldier with traditional rulers? And that means you are a political soldier. A political soldier, you are already tainted. You know? So these ones, from the first day, you can see that they've been working together. Even that the moniker that they've given the war in the Northeast is Operation Hardin Kai. That means Operation Put Heads Together. So that is to tell you that they wanted, ab initio from the beginning, the late Chief of Army Staff wanted to work with his colleagues. And you can see they are achieving the results. The way we used to bring stories of killings in the past,
on a daily basis.
If it does not happen, will Babajide go and invent it? When it was happening, when we talk about it, some paid agents will abuse us. Today, the people who are abusing us, we are closer to the army than they are, because the army knows that they are of no value. Those who are abusing us on behalf of the army. Yes. We can go where we like, we can enter to Kano, we can show the progress that the army is making. Because I can say, oh, Ezugu, this is your MRAP. Let me do something about it.
When
they give me the mandate, I enter it.
We approach.
Look, they appreciate what we report.
Honest criticism.
I was at the 81 Division the other day, and they were saying, look, some of the things that you say even help us to know what to do next. This is what the ignorant loafers on social media do not understand. when you are focused on saying the truth, you will earn respect. The one who sets out to simply try to impress people, they already know them. Their own place, or Tolaye, that's the way I would describe it. Their own place, they just put them on one side. Where the progress is being made, we will report it. The way I did when I went to Maiduguri in December, the way nobody has ever shown that the president has bought weapons for the army was what I did. Showed those weapons, different weapons that we never knew were there. You know, showing that, yes, in terms of capacity, the army is moving forward. That's the sort of thing that we should do as journalists, not to be praising them even when they are wrong. Not to join them in lying. No. If you try to mislead our people, I step in to say, no, that was not what happened. I'm not going to join you in playing propaganda. I wasn't trained to do that. But it won't stop you from respecting me because you know I'm focused on saying the truth. And I'm saying again that the way we used to see stories about the Northeast, are we bringing those stories now? When was the last time that you heard that a super camp was breached? Or that they chased our troops away from their bases? Or that our people have fled from what's the name of this town where the police chief came from in Yobe, Gaydam. You know, when they chased them away from Gaydam, I talked about it here that they chased our people away. They fled from Gaydam to Niger Republic. That is the truth, and I supported it with the video. One day I was discussing with the Inspector General of Police. They said, you are reporting that even as IG, that terrorists chased away my people from my village. And we just laughed about it. But that's the truth. When progress is being made, we will be there to report it. That is what a journalist should do. And we won't sit down in the office, in our studio, and be pontificating about things that even we can't do. We go out on the field to see what's on ground. That's what separates us from armchair critics of everything that government does.
All right. After some confusion and blame game, it appears the planned redesign of the Naira is on course. President Muhammadu Buhari has reacted to the plan by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to redesign and replace 100 Naira, 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes from the 15th of December. According to a press statement by the presidential spokesman, Gabashew, President Buhari said the decision has his support and he is convinced that the country will gain a lot from it. PKB. Now, we are now very sure that, look, Emefiele is not on his own. He's not flying solo. Yeah. I went to go and check the CBN Act, and I discovered that, yes, Section 27 of it gives the CBN the powers and everything to do what they've done, that they've not done anything wrong. Yeah. And there's also a place in the Act that says recourse to Mr. President, and Mr. President was duly notified. Maybe the President failed to tell his own ex-co members. That is where, but as it is now, the situation is that Emefiele is on course.
He has the presidential note. Well, in the history of changing currencies in Nigeria, if I remember my history correctly, it was only Afenifere and General Yakubu Gowon that were aware that we were changing from pounds to Naira during the Civil War. And if you remember, it was a 24-hour notice when the then General Muhammadu Buhari, and then I think this man, Sholeye, also decided to change the Naira, the color of the Naira at that point in time. Changing the color of your currency is not something that a lot of people will do. It's not done anywhere in the world. It's basically between a very few people. In fact, some people are already complaining that given this amount of time, we will allow those who want to abort the advantages that will be brought in by the change to also strategize on how to do that. Conservatively, they do this a week, 3 days, enough to make sure the majority of the money that are not in circulation are kept there, as the system can only absorb when they are mopping up. So to this, I think Mr. Fele was right the president was right. It's the right thing to do. He doesn't have to tell everybody. It's not a fiscal policy. It's a currency policy. That's what to do with the Ministry of Finance. But having said that, there's something you and I know they call the Cobra effect. That is when you look for an answer that will create another problem. And that is my fear for this. Because the last 2 times that we changed the color of our currency or the currency, we're doing the military regime. But in this day and age, when certain things cannot be done, I wish the central bank governor well. Because I personally believe that we need to mop up excess liquidity in our system. Not only because it works and shore up the Naira, it also ensures that whatever we are doing as a nation, we can get a realistic exchange rate over the cost of things that we do. Because right now, a lot of money are kept somewhere in the system, and they are really pushing against the Naira.
Julian, I'm worried. I'm worried about a security and meeting company that is not producing our Naira. I'm worried about a Naira that will be shipped abroad that will be produced for 3 Naira per 1 Naira. You understand what I'm saying? At no point in time had they printed this thing outside, and we've not gotten, the expenditure that will be used on that investment be more than the physical cash on ground.
Now, of course, that is the situation. It's expensive to print currencies, especially when you want to put all of those security features to make it difficult for counterfeiters. The last time they printed about 1.6 trillion, it cost about 58 billion naira to print
1.6
to print 1.6 trillion. Now, if we are going to, I think the last time they announced that we had about a little over 3 trillion in circulation.
Yes.
Now, if we go by that figure, they could be thinking of printing up to 3 trillion. If they were to print up to 3 trillion, you can see the cost that will incur. So it is expensive to print currency, and the printing of this currency will not put an end to counterfeiting. The world is so developed now, and there is tremendous photography technology that has evolved over the years that can cause these people to print our currency within a short time of the release of the currency. And they will put all of those security features that you put there. I pity INEC. INEC, for example, loads its Form EC8A with all kinds of security features because people continue to counterfeit INEC Form EC8A so that they can be able to rig election. So some of the things that they want to achieve, I'm afraid they will achieve only in the short run. For example, if you are saying, that there are so many bandits out there, if you do this, they will not be able to get ransom. That one is only for a short period. Once the exchange has been completed, they will still be kidnapped. We pay with the new currencies that you have. In any case, some of them, the big-time kidnappers, those big-time kidnappers, it is dollars that they will tell you to bring. As we saw with the train passengers, they all were made to pay their ransom, 100 million each. I think it was a foreigner amongst them that paid 200 million, and they paid in foreign currency with the instruction that you must not take all the money from one road exchange operator. So now, that's to tell you that even bandits will sometimes ask for foreign currency. Even Boko Haram, when they kidnap people, there have been occasions when Boko Haram asks for even euros, that they should be paid in euros. So these things happen, Now, the other issue is how do we change the attitude of people who have made up their minds that they will not put money in the banks?
That's what
it's
I
a
wanted to ask you.
cultural
80% of this
slash.
money
Yes, no, even
is said to be outside the banking
yes.
sector. How do you mop it up?
Yes.
How do you make them believe in our financial institutions?
Even if you mop it up at that time, it still won't change anything. By the time they have access to the new currency, they will still not use the bank. I mean, this is something, you know, our people want something else to do with religion. How do you convince them? Religion is a dogma, and people are very stoic about what they believe in. I was born, raised in the North, and I did my youth service in the North. I lived there, worked there for years. I know what I'm talking about. I know some big markets in Kano where some of the multi-millionaires there will never take their money into a bank. And everyone knows that this guy is thinkingly rich. Successful business people. They did not go to school, but they are swimming in millions. You can't tell them not to take money to the bank. They won't agree.
John is calling us from Abuja.
Well, good day, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
My name is George from Abuja.
All right, go ahead, please.
The issue of the Minister of Finance to apologize to Nigeria or resign from that position, because CBN governor is not answerable to her. That is one. Then Gumi, who is telling us that the kidnappers will be demanding for hard currency, should be also arrested.
All right. I could barely hear what.
Saying that the CBN government is not answerable to the federal.
He said about something about those monies out of the system.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about my own small my own small Naira cover, okay, we have it in the bank, and they will change it for us, and we just have to collect whatever we have and everything. But there are still people outside the sector too.
Not only in the north, even in the south. There are a lot of the Allojas would rather convert the money to gold instead of taking to the bank. You see a market woman in Balogun or Tafaji, and she'll be putting on something in excess of 50 million naira in terms of gold. He said that some of them don't take money to the bank, some of them don't. Some, of course, keep it in their mattresses. So there's a lot of ways to bail the cats. So it's a job that is well
gold is a much more stable store of value.
That's what they do most of the time.
The currency.
Even some of the richest northerners, who are men, also prefer to keep their money
from
in gold.
Kano or
And
Saudi Arabia.
it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Even in the US, there's a lot of millionaires who are converted to gold basically as a safekeep when the dollar is going up and down. Two things can be done. The first one, of course, is to let them know that they can pass it through the system and still be protected. That is what will be very difficult to do. Because people have been doing this for 200, 300 years, since the Owo days, and they are not about to change. So government must find a way to protect them and assure them that their money is safe.
And to not be multiplied.
That's the only way. Because if you ask them to go to the bank,
They don't want interest on their money.
They don't want their money.
So now if they do a lot of enlightenment, look, it's just to change this thing for you. Maybe it will help.
Yeah.
They don't want
anything to do.
They don't want the money to multiply in any way. Because
Multiplying.
that's what they see as betting, as gambling and all that. And that's the way.
Yes,
maybe now, for such people, they can use we have some non-interest banks.
I think
in our
Jais
country.
Bank,
Jais,
Bank,
you know, Jais is just one of them. It's a non-interest bank, Islamic bank. Maybe such people can go through that bank,
I think
because at least everybody,
Yes, if you go to the
everybody knows
Sukuk,
that. Okay,
the financing of Sukuk.
everybody knows that Jais Bank is a non-interest bank, so and it's an Islamic bank. So if they can go through the bank can help them facilitate the exchange from old notes to new notes. Maybe that will give them the confidence to take. But again, old habits die hard.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work.
We had this kind of thing in 1984. Yet, until I left the North in 1999, the practice was still on. So
we'll be right back after this time out. Please stay with us. Still journalist Hangout.
APC not the party, now one man be a choice. Nigeria now we country, APC not the party, now one man be a choice. Who be the president we need? Who be the president we go for?
People of Nigeria don't talk, oh. Them say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu them want as president of Nigeria.
Our country people get many reasons we make them all agree, say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu them choose for this president election.
Yes, oh. Bola Tinubu na man we sabi. Anything we put in hand, he dey work wella.
He do better work for Lagos State when he be governor. Till today, Lagos people still they enjoy from all the better things we jaburata for Lagos. People of Nigeria, he good to make we vote for who sabi.
As it can't be so, make we all come out for election day and vote Bola Tinubu as president of Nigeria.
Vote Senator Kashim Shettima as the vice president.
Vote APC, the party with the broom.
Who be the president we go for?
You and your hair go through a lot. The heat, rain, chaos. It's a non-stop war against total breakdown. But just like you, your hair can stay strong no matter what. Mega Growth Break-Free Daily Leave-In Strengthener for all hair types is infused with a unique blend of natural oils and conditioning proteins that helps protect your hair. Mega Growth Break-Free, your daily defense against breakage.
Good afternoon, Oga. Now you be the landlord.
Yes, Nami.
Oga landlord, me go need one room for this your house, so.
Okay, sure you get work where you do.
Yes, I be nurse.
You know go they owe me be that now.
Now how much be your rent, safe?
Not just 90,000 naira. Wait, this guy, where you come from, Seth?
Oga, I come from Akamata.
Akamata? No talk am again. My spirit and Akamata people know they ever join.
Oga, what's happen now?
Come over my compound. Now so baba thing that people sabi do for that Akamata. Come over here.
Haba, Papa, wetin this innocent girl do you now? Now people like you, they spoil Nigeria, Papa.
I think you don't see them now. My people, they talk, say jollof rice. We dey for bottom pot today. Go dey top of cooler tomorrow. As I take need you now, so you self need me. Because now one mama we get, we be Nigeria. Make we love ourselves. Because now only together we go fit to make our country better for us and our children them. One heart plus one love equals better Nigeria. Now the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government, they bring in this message.
Thank you for staying with us. More alignment and realignment are unfolding as Nigeria marches to the 2023 elections. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, has met with leaders of Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization, Afenifere, at the residence of its national leader, Ruben Fashionati, in Akure, Ondo State. At the meeting, Tinubu presented his plan of action for 2023 to the Yoruba leaders, and he could be seen bowing his head to receive blessings from the Afenifere leader. Some members of Afenifere, including the leader, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, and Secretary General Shola Ebisheni, were not at the meeting. Adebanjo, who endorsed the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, months ago, insists it remains his choice. Let's share the story of Tinubu's visit to Fashionati by TVC News Ola Awakun.
The arrival of the presidential flag bearer of the APC in Akure, Deputy Governor of Ondo State, and a crowd of supporters thronged the airport to welcome him. Asiwaju Tinubu then moved around, waving to the teeming supporters. The supporters accompanied him to the residence of the leader of the Afenifere, Ruben Fashionati, where he is to meet with the conscience of Yoruba nation comprising leaders of the Southwest. Fashionati prayed for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and wished him well as he embarks on the journey to Aso Rock. During the meeting with the conscience of Yoruba nation and leaders of the Southwest, Asiwaju Tinubu was described as a true son of the Yoruba race who has the capacity to lead the nation to its promised land.
Asiwaju is quite qualified for the position of president.
We are proud that he's from our race, that is in Nigeria. And we will file behind him to ensure that victory come April and especially days of God.
They outline security, economy, restructuring and other areas of concern that they would require Asiwaju Tinubu to address when he becomes president.
We are convinced that by the introduction of state police, this is the
he will not give up on Nigeria.
The presidential candidate of the APC thanked Pa Fashoranti and other Southwest leaders for their prayers, which made him win the party's primary election, as he presents his manifesto to the leader of Afenifere.
There will be opposition. Opposition with Muslims can win if they have the structure. But this one, with your prayer earlier on today, I will bring the trophy home. Amen. We will change the course of history.
As a public officer throughout my life, I don't want my life's investment to be wasted. So I have a double reason for wishing Nigeria well. I wish you well. When you bring the trophy, I'll be here sitting by Baba.
Asiwaju Tinubu also used the historic moment to describe how President Muhammadu Buhari, governors of APC from the north, and other northern leaders proved to him that Nigeria can survive its unity and other challenges. Ola Awakan, TVC News, Akure.
Julie, let's quickly juggle the memory of our viewers. And then in 2015, the mainstream, Afenifere, supported former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. They lost their election. In 2019, the mainstream Afenifere supported Atiku Abubakar against Buhari. They lost their election. This is not in any way taking anything from Afenifere, but the way Afenifere is composed now, and with that visit yesterday, you'll be sure that it's a group divided. It's a divided group. Of course it's While Papa Ayo Adebanjo is in Lagos, Lekki, waxing lyrical, talking about his endorsement of Peter Obi on a daily basis. And this group now, contrary to what we've been reading on internet, we can hear Pa Fashoranti now saying that we Asiwaju and everything. That means it's a sort of endorsement. My producer can even replay it so that they hear it again.
Fashoranti endorsed Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the first time in April 2021, when over a year ago, members of Swagger visited him in Akure to seek his blessings. On that day, he endorsed him and said that he should come after the primaries of the party to receive blessings for the general election.
So be careful of the rebuke
now,
you're reading.
What Asiwaju has done is in line with what Baba Fashoranti directed him to do, that after the primaries, he should come back, he should come for blessings. So there is no doubt that Baba Fashoranti, who handed over the leadership of Afenifere to Baba Adebanjo on account of old age. Yes, both of them are old, but Baba Adebanjo is more agile. You know, Baba Adebanjo himself is not less than 94, but God has blessed him so much physiologically that when you see him, you will not even know that he's up to 80 years. There are people like that, it has pleased God to bless in that way. They are so strong, you know, so he's healthier, he's looking held there and doesn't appear to have aged rapidly. So Baba Fashoranti considered leadership to him on account
stress.
of, yes, because at that age he can't function effectively anymore, in that position. So Obi, what Asiwaju Tinubu and his people have done, the moment Baba Adebanjo began to say that Afenifere has endorsed Obi, they continue to repeat it. Within the Bola Ahmed Tinubu House of Strategists, they were already making up their minds to get these guys to get people to realize that Afenifere does not belong to Baba Adebanjo alone, and that the view of Baba Adebanjo does not equate to the view of the whole. Does not equate even to the view of the whole. I'm still talking about Afenifere now. So this is what we have seen. We've seen leaders, other leaders show up there, members of Afenifere, by being at that event.
Yeah, Chief Olufalaye,
by supporting.
person like Chief Olufalaye is very strong.
You cannot say that, because Baba Adebanjo said he does not support him, that means everybody in Afenifere. I think it is that notion that this meeting effectively combusted. You can't go around now and say, the whole of Afenifere, they have queued behind Obi. People will remind you of what happened in Akure, where even Baba Fashoranti laid his hands on his head and prayed for him. The way you bless your child, when your child is leaving you, maybe your daughter getting married, the way you bless her, because even marriage itself is a very tricky phase of life.
Yeah.
So anybody who is married will know that it's a tricky phase of life, in life's journey. So this is the thing. They had always wanted to do something about that notion. They have succeeded now. Because, frankly, nobody expected Asiwaju to go to this place to say he's going to present his manifesto. But he knows what he's doing. His minders know what they are doing. That once they are able to do this, they found a way to make it look like Baba Adebanjo is isolated, his views represent what they are, his own views, and not the views of the entire Afenifere leadership.
DKB, talking about the Afenifere over time, looking at the politics, looking at the dynamics, it has, they've never had it a house in order since, let me say, the death of Chief, what's the name of? Ibrahim Adesoya. When they used to meet in Jebubo and everything, Papa and everything. But after the death of Ibrahim Adesoya, effectively, Afenifere wasn't speaking with one voice again.
Well, you have to understand that the schism, everyone can call it that, started with the meeting in Ibadan to select the presidential candidates for the AD, which Chief Olufalaye emerged.
At Dirovan's hotel.
At Dirovan's.
While he traveled.
Put a trailer through the...
Yes.
And so that's the beginning of the schism.
Recently, we're told that Asiwaju supported Chief Olufalaye at that time.
Recently, I think what really happened is the fact that there was a desire that, of course, was broken by other regions, not the Southwest, to do a collective bargaining, if one can call it that, to present a Southern candidate. Remember the meetings that they all held with the Ohaneze, with the Middle Belt Forum, and all that. And then the Afenifere decided to be the main champion of what they consider to be inequality or whatever they call it when it comes to the South. It's their right, they have the prerogative. But like you stated, the Yoruba race is about 40, 50 million strong. with a voting population of about 25-30 million. There's something Yorubas will call Obo-Onsun, not even when Awolowo was alive. There will be people who will resist and go the other way. Awolowo never forced anybody to follow it or apart. He present his case, he give you the 4 cardinal programs, and give you the choice of what to do. And for a social cultural group, going deep to politics like this is really not the best. But I understand where they are coming from. But like you said, 2 things happened yesterday. One of them is the fact that the Afenifere decided to host Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that one is done. The executive of Afenifere decided that they are going to support Obi. What is left now is for the Yoruba nation, or Yoruba people, or Yoruba ethnic nationality, whatever they call them, us now, to now decide which way they are going. And I'm sure yesterday I've really shown that the morning will mark the day.
And unsurprisingly, Baba Adebanjo came out to say, well, Fashoranti was speaking to himself, that as far as they are concerned, he already endorsed Obi of the Labour Party in line with the desire for justice and equity.
Are you not surprised that with what JKB even said, even Ohaneze Ndigbo, they've till now avoided the pressure to endorse any candidate. Even Arewa that just finished this thing, they've not endorsed anybody. Why the rush for Afenifere to endorse?
Only Baba Adebanjo can answer that.
No, I think the history of the relationship between Afenifere and Bola Ahmed Tinubu since 1983 will be a factor that we can look at to decide whether this is what is happening. Because they've always been in the camp that Asiwaju is not since 2003. So I don't think anybody, a student of Nigerian political history, will be surprised at the position taken by the Afenifere executive and the majority members of what the Yorubas will decide come February. I think that's the fundamental issue we have to look at here. They have the right to do whatever, like Baba Adeba just said. It's the fundamental right of Baba Fashoranti to let Asiwaju come and be blessed. It's also the fundamental right of the Afenifere executive to do whatever they think they want to endorse. And like you noticed, they've been endorsed people in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 electoral cycle that bears no reward, at least not to the level that they expected as a group. I agree that it's a schism, but this is a schism that our elders will find a way around going forward.
I think there is a lot of issues around personality clashes and I don't like this person offended me, therefore going forward I won't be his man.
Because
we are seeing
sorry to cut you, please. My brother released something yesterday for Afenifere, Mogaji. And the opening line was basically about the antecedents or lack of it. And I said, look at what he wrote and what Baba Adeba just said. And you can compare, just to buttress what you said about Ego and things like that.
No, disagreements.
Even the man himself said he has the rights.
The truth is, as I always say, I do not begrudge them for
it's their rights.
For endorsing Obi. Those of them who have endorsed Obi. One thing is clear. It's not every one of them that agree with that decision to endorse Obi. Just as every one of them cannot endorse the position of Baba Fashoranti, or how is his name pronounced?
Fashoranti.
But at the end of the day, it is the Nigerian people that will determine who their next president is.
Majority of Nigerian
groups like Afenifere and the rest of them, they can endorse anybody. But candidates, my advice to candidates is to stay focused. Keep your eyes on the ball. Let your strategy be tight. And know that it is the overwhelming majority of Nigerians that you need to win this election. Some people in a hall, maybe 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, cannot determine who becomes Nigeria's next president.
Not in 2020.
Nigerians, their power lies in their votes. They are the ones who will determine. You can hate Bola Ahmed Tinubu as much as you want. If the Nigerian people, the majority of the Nigerian people say, this is who we want, and they decide to vote for him, there's nothing you can do about it. You may not like Obi's face, but if the voters say, it is Obi that must be our next president,
live with the decision.
He's the one who represents change, it goes on to win. There's nothing you can do about it. That is, we here are expressing our opinion about who has gone to who in the desire to win. The candidate wants to win the election, and he will do whatever it thinks he has to do to win the election.
All right, we're going to take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Stay with us.
Our country one better. Nigeria one better. Our country one better. Nigeria one better. Who go do one for us? Tinubu, Papa Tokambo, Mama Tokambo, for a better Nigeria. Good life uncle. Now you we want to. Now you we need oh.
Yes, so people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better we want shele for we country. So as they ready to vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria, our people don't look the matter well. Say na only Bola Tinubu don't do what everybody fit see. Now him get the experience where he go fit use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our picking them. Bola Tinubu don't gather better plan to chase down war for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace for all we country people of Nigeria. For this and many other better things when in don't vocalize, it good make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party where show broom.
Now you we need oh.
Showing up in style inspires great confidence. IVM G5T appeals to class.
Time is of the essence. With IVM Kappa, business and meetings are always on the go.
Fun time with the family. Thank you to IVM Kingdom. IVM Kara is always stealing the show. Isn't she beautiful? Influence defines a great leader. IVM Seriki is Africa's commute king. Strong, reliable, and durable. With the concept of regionalization, Innocent Vehicle is committed to satisfying its customers with producing their everyday dream cars.
IVM, pride of African roots.
Despite attempts in some circles to downplay the achievements of this administration, I have no scintilla of doubt that history will be fairer and posterity will be kind to us. Those whose streets have been shortened and smoothened by good roads and bridges will remember the government that built those roads and bridges. Those who use the modern terminals at our airports will remember who built them. Those who ride on modern trains along Lagos-Ibadan, Abuja-Kaduna, and Itakpe-Warri will not forget those who made that happen.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still in that season of endorsements and groups, political parties, professional bodies. They will invite all these presidential candidates, just like when the candidate of the All Progressive Congress was accused to have boycotted the Nigerian Bar Association meeting at that time in Lagos. But when you got to some other areas, they showed up.
Yeah, you have to pick your
a lot of these candidates, they know where the votes are. They know where to go to. So some invitation, they will turn it down. Some invitation, they will attend. it's a very busy season for them.
Yes.
Especially for the likes of Peter Obi, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed
you have to be
Tinubu,
strategic.
and Atiku Abubakar.
You have to be strategic in looking for votes. Despite the fact that many Christians are not happy that a Christian was not chosen as a vice presidential candidate to Asiwaju, but you will see that he has not left the Christian community alone. He's been meeting them. He does not want to give up the votes, the quantum of votes from the Christian community, and so he's still meeting different Christian groups. And I've seen some Christian groups endorse him.
Like the
some Christian groups
of Lagos that I've listened to his
they've endorsed him.
And yes,
even some young Christians and all that. Remember even what Reverend Father Kuka said the other day.
Yes.
That he doesn't think that Christians should be bothered about a Muslim ticket. You know, he continues to tell the Christians that, look, I cannot Islamize Nigeria. It's not possible. My wife is a pastor, the Redeemed Church, and near the bed lamps of our bed, we have the Quran. There are 2 lamps to the bed. You have the Quran on this side, you have the Bible on the other side. And according to Asiwaju, both positions have never changed, which means you are a Muslim, you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, we both respect each other's faith. And as far as it's concerned, in the affairs of the nation, we must ensure that religion does not mortally divide us, because that will have grave implications. So the point that I'm making is that he knows that by not choosing a Christian as his deputy, many Christians are not happy. But in spite of that, he is still going after the Christian vote. He is still campaigning to them. He's not giving up. What some of them hate to hear is to say that, I chose him based on the fact that I saw him as the best. They don't want to hear that, because you can't tell them that that is the best that you can have. But you can actually say that in the context of this election, I found him the most appropriate. Because I've had a Christian leader who said, if he says that to us, we will understand, but he should not give the impression that he's the best, that they are convinced that there are other people who are just as good, who are Christians, or if not even better. But when you say in the context of the election, you found him the most appropriate, that means the candidate wants to win, and he thinks that that is the person who can best guarantee victory for him. So it's a political decision in the real sense of the word. It has nothing to do with spiritual considerations.
These candidates, they will come up with so many other strategies to win the hearts of the electorate.
Yeah. You have to understand we are in the season, so things like this is bound to happen. But what I found most interesting is the level of promises that have been made. And that to me is fundamental. I wish that we got to a point in our democratic journey where we can look back at what candidates promised and what they've been able to deliver. That will be the future, not whether it's a Christian or a Muslim. Because ultimately, if the roads are good, everybody will ply that road. If the trains are working, everybody will use that rail. If the economy is fantastic, everybody will make money in that economy. I know we're not there yet. We are still primordial in that sense of ethnicity and religion. But I think going forward, what I think will happen next is the fact that we move to a sphere where religion will not play a major part. Right now, I cannot tell you that that's true, because a lot of people are using
ethnicity.
A lot of people are using ethnicity now and masquerading it as patriotism. That is the danger to me, because somebody who is obviously partisan, because the candidate is XYZ, you are not telling other people that they don't have that right, and they are now tribal.
Meanwhile, in your heart, it's actually an ethnic agenda.
Yeah, you know exactly what you are planning. Even Stevie Wonder can see what the agenda is. I keep pretending that your position is patriotic. Mine is tribalistic. And that's the danger that we face as a nation today.
Thank you for your contribution.
That's
and Vicky, thanks for always being there. And that's our take for today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 and join us every Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzuba. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.
We love fried food, seasoned fried fish, French fries, but cooking fried food sometimes feels like going to war. Different cooking pans, hot oil spills, lots and lots of oil, meaning added calories, and cleaning is a disaster. Scraping, what a chore, but not anymore.